Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today is January 20th, and today's recap video, I actually want to really focus on a really cool strategy that I really love and I know is going to help you a ton. Today, I want to cover the backside trade strategy. It's pretty simple, and after you see this video, you're going to be able to identify this setup and trade it successfully and profitably every single time. Okay, so let's get right into it. Starting with the first trade that we took today, I posted a trade plan for ALLY, Ally, at 5:44 this morning my time. It was making this move right here. So I posted the trade plan, and at that time I said it needed to hold $27.65, which is right around this general area, okay? And it hadn't even done this little move yet, but you can see right here, it did bounce right off of that line and then it continued on. This was pre-market, so I didn't trade pre-market for this one because there was really no volume. I did take this trade right here on this green arrow, and which was right around $29.90, and I went up to $31.50. You can see that played out very well. Made $1.60 per share on that little move. But the move that I wanted to focus on in teaching you this backside strategy is after it hits a target, it's going to pull back. And that's always tricky because you're like, where is it going? How do I know it's going to turn around right here? We're below all the EMAs, and and what are my targets going to be after this high? And now we're down here. Right? I have a little tool on here that I've developed that puts this little green line on here. But whenever I see it, I will line my cursor up to it and I will look to the left and find, okay, where is this level right here? And it lined up with resistance, which now is support, okay? It was kind of a resistance support area, and I really like to see that. So we had this high, and then it started to sell down. This high at $31.60, and it started to sell down. It sold all the way down to $30.59. So that was this level here, this resistance area where we had some wicks, and then it pushed through and it continued on. So we were finding some support. What I like to do at that point is I will draw a line to the low wick, usually which was here, but I moved my line because it kind of matched that previous level that I just showed you to the left. So here, this is going to be my stop loss, all right? I'm going to look at this point. I see these tails, draw my line, and I wait for a green arrow. I got my green arrow here, and I got in at $30.70 right here on this candle right here, this green candle where the arrow is pointing. That was my entry. This is my stop. It's a really low risk. My stop is very tight, okay? Basically, it's the long tail in this case. So now what I'm doing, my next thing I need to worry about is where am I going with this trade, right? How long am I going to stay with it? Well, ideally, I want to go to this line. And I drew this line based on support and resistance. This is where it broke previous support. We had support here and candles broke through it, okay? See how we had support, it turned around, and then they really broke through right there. So that was my target, right? Right, but there's kind of a decision doji right here too. This funny little, it's like a cross, okay? This little candle right here. A lot of times I'll look for one of those if I have one. I don't always have one where you see that and then you see support being broke right after that, okay? So that's another way of identifying this level to be a target. Next step is you're staying with this trade and you're going to let it stair step its way up. You're going to raise your stop loss. So here my stop loss is here, and then I'm going to maintain this stop loss until it starts to climb up above these moving averages, okay? If for some reason it starts to sell down and break below this, I will get out, okay? But usually if you've identified this level correctly, you're going to be fine, even though all the lines are kind of pointing down right there when you're first getting in. But I identified it by looking to the left, finding some previous resistance. Now it's finding support. So we're just going to work our way up through all of these levels, these EMAs, until we're starting to find price above them, and then we'll use the EMAs as our stop loss. So you can see right here, we had another buy signal. Things were holding here. Here we were finally above all the EMAs at this point, okay? Once you're above the blue dash, that's my 50, then you're going to just start using the next one. So at this point, once you're above all of them, then all of a sudden you can move your stop loss to this blue dash. That's the 50 EMA. So now my stop loss is going to be this blue EMA, okay? And I'll take it to my target, which is right here. I didn't get out on this candle right here. It wicked. I didn't get out I got out right here in this area, somewhere on there at $31.35. So I had already made $1.60 on the front side, but this is the back side, and I made an additional 65 cents from here to here. And that's not too bad. I mean, it's not great. I mean, you're just taking what you can get. And so my goal is always to try to get 3 trades in per day. So I got my first one here. I just wanted to go ahead and do a backside. Was good, right? There was some range and it worked out. So 2 trades on ALLY. The next trade I did was LYT. And this one was a cheap stock. I was able to leverage like 5,000. I could have traded more shares, but I just hate this price point. So I tend to go a little lighter on these cheap stocks, even though you can leverage however many shares you want to little trade with. But I traded, 5,000 shares on this one. And it was a backside trade. We had this front side that I did not trade. It was a good little move. It was holding the EMAs. You see how you have this green one, and you're going to stair step up. You're going to use the 50 as your first stop loss, as long as it holds above this blue dash. Then you can move to the next stop loss level, which is this pink one. And it actually held on the 20 here. This tan line is the 20. So you just stay with it all the way to your targets as long as it's holding your stop level, right? Your EMAs, okay? Well, here we are. We're having a backside. It had made this high of $2.27, and it started to sell down below everything, right? Below all these EMAs, including the 50, went way below. And here we got one of these little signals, this green line and an arrow, right? So I like to put my cursor right there. And this was easy to identify. See these tails? They pretty much hit that same general level. So that's what I did. I found the lowest one, drew my little white line, which was going to be my initial stop loss, and I put my cursor over it and identified, okay, where is that hitting over here? It's hitting previous support, right? Which was a little tricky because usually I like to find a previous resistance, which becomes support. But in this case, it was kind of a previous, on this sell, it was a previous support more or less. It was a little tricky to identify this one. But I looked for this little doji right here, which was kind of in the general area of this line. And it's a decision doji. It pulled down a little bit below that, which is where my line ended up being. And it held that level. So previous support became support again. I said, okay, this is going to be my stop loss. And I'm just going to work my way through these EMAs and once it gets above them, I'll let it stair step up. But I want to just get to this first level, this first target line, this white line. I actually identified this white line way back at 7 o'clock this morning or 7:45 this morning when it was back down in this price range. I had told everybody, okay, 190 is going to be a level to watch, okay? So that was my target. I kept it as a target because also it aligned with this blue EMA when it curled over, which showed that's where things started to fall apart when it sold down, okay? So I'll look for these EMA curls, right, where things kind of break below. And this was the first one. I'll try to just go ahead and take it to here because to the left of that was an area of resistance, okay? So it's probably going to be resistance again. And here it was resistance. So getting in here on this candle at $1.65, I took it to $1.91. Didn't make a whole lot, 26 cents. But when you're trading $1 per share stock, you can trade 5,000, whatever, how many shares you want, and you'll make good money. So on this one, I did pretty well, even though it was only 26 cents per share. The next stock was later in the day, COSM. I missed this front move. I was busy with other stocks, so I waited for it to pull back here. I saw it pulling down to this level. I had a long tail, so I put my cursor over and looked to the left, and I saw, a doji holding that level and cutting through. And, I kind of thought, maybe it was a little hard to identify. It could have been this level here, which lined up with this green line. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go with the green line. Initially this line, but the green line, and stay with it. And my target was going to be, I was going to watch through this level, but it hadn't tagged the target yet. So I thought, well, I'll stay with it through the target, just stair step up. And by the time I got through this line, it just pushed hard to this next level. And this was a daily level. This one right here at $6.24. And I did get out there and I made $1.43 per share. So all in all, today I made $3.94 per share between 4 trades. But again, the backside trade, if you're using my chart settings, and these are really fabulous, and I give these to all my mentoring clients because they're pretty flawless, right? You get this little green line right here, just line it up to the left, see where it's hitting. And it hit some tails and some tops, and that made sense to me. Plus, these candles did not want to fall below. So that's how you do the backside. It's a tricky one because you're going to have to come back through all of your EMAs and then let it stair step up and hold support. But once it gets through them, you can raise your stop loss and start to be in the green and make some money. Okay. I am going to be giving away free access to my trade plan room. And every morning I sit down at my desk at 5:45 every morning and I start analyzing different stocks that are on the scan or that have gapped up or whatever they're doing. And I decide which are going to be our most profitable stocks to trade in the day. And then I create trade plans for them with my notations of what to look for and the setups that we're going to be playing. And so if you are interested in that, I'm going to be giving away 5 free days to that trade plan room. So you can go ahead and try out the alert system for free, totally free, and see how accurate it is every day. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. I'll be announcing how to reserve your place because it's very limited. I'm not going to take on very many people for that because I do have clients in there I'm trying to help one-on-one, but I am happy to help you guys if you're interested. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be giving the details on how you can take advantage of that probably next week. Okay. All right. I hope you have a great weekend and we'll talk soon.